Hello, welcome to another episode of Deep Fat Fried. Today's show is one that was done by Paul on the history of insanity, but first, a whole lot of banter and bullshit.
Wow.
Whoop, whoop. So, Paul, how's it going, buddy? That's great. How about you, Scotty? Scotty's also good. That's wonderful. All right, let's watch the president get booed. This is Donald Trump at the World Series here.
Boo. That's not booing. People are just cheering differently.
Yay.
Yeah,
You can see that smile start. He cracked a little for a minute there. You see that?
Oh, dude, this is a mask of agony right now.
Right. Did you? I saw it slip for a second
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
You got to watch it. There you go.
Right there.
Right there.
Yep.
You see it in the eyes.
Yep.
All right. He's putting it back together. Okay. The mask is back on.
Slipping momentarily here.
Lonnie's like, oh, that's no good.
That's no good. Oh shit. Lock him up, dude.
Lock him up.
And great thing about it is, well, I said this before, and Paul corrected me, but I'm going to say it again. He can correct me again if he wants. He's really, there's nothing you can really say to it, because I mean, the Republican crowds are fond of chanting about Hillary. Lock her up. I'm okay with locking them both up. Give them both. They can share a cell together and fucking sing for all I give a shit. I just know. I wonder who would be the bitch in that fucking relationship.
Oh, I think I know who.
I think Hillary might just shank Donald or something.
No, she'd just dom him.
Shank him in the prison shower.
Top him so fucking hard, she'd have him washing her drawers. Get the stains out of my drawers, Donald.
Hillary.
Oh, yes, Hillary.
I've ironed and pressed starch. How much starch do you want on your shirts, madam?
No, he will find a way to bitch about this. And it won't matter that he himself invoked this kind of shit in politics. Because whenever God Emperor Trump opens his mouth, reality flows forth from within it. He creates reality as he speaks.
That's his superpower.
Yeah. He's like Thanos.
He doesn't even need the infinity fucking gauntlet.
He is the Infinity Gauntlet. He's the orange Infinity Stone, dude. Look at him shining.
Love it. I want to get that exact moment where it fades.
There is something nice and American about a president showing up at the World Series and getting fucking roundly booed.
I know.
Though. You know what I mean? It feels like a good time to be an American.
It does. And I'm proud to be an American where the president gets booed. And the people all chant, lock him up. They don't care if it's rude.
And he can't do nothing about it now but sit there like a bitch. You know what I mean? It's so American.
Can we look at the reactions on the people around him? Do they just keep cheering, like act like they're not being booed?
Yeah. I mean, look, honestly, this is not the first time I've seen a politician go to a sporting event, be shown on the screen, and get booed. It's kind of par for the course.
Well, then with the crowd you have, too.
The lock him up chant is really where it goes to the next level.
I mean, just the fact that he gets roundly booed at the fucking World Series is pretty significant in and of itself.
Oh,
but yeah. It didn't sound like the entire stadium was engaging in the lock
No,
him up. It
it
sounded
was a
like it
few
was a
people.
sporadic chant, but there was enough people.
There was enough that it was
a chant.
You heard it. It was a
Right.
chant. And it wasn't like the other people that were there. They weren't like, hey, that's bullshit. We love Trump. We love,
Right. There was no
counter chant.
chant.
There was no like, all right, let's stick up for Trump. It was either you were chanting lock him up or you were just kind of staring at your hands.
Most people just want to see the fucking game, but obviously the people that feel strongly about Trump are going to fucking let you know. They're going to be like, lock his ass up.
Dude, that's something I've been thinking about recently, and I don't know to what extent I'll be able to do this, but just divesting myself from the political theater shit, dude. Oh, yes. Oh, there it is.
Damn.
That is kind of like the description that Stormy Daniels gave of Trump's dick.
There you go.
She said it looked like a mushroom from Super Mario Brothers.
Well, that seems to do it.
kind of does.
That's our president.
When did he drop his pants?
I don't know.
I think it was a windy day and his pants just flew clean off.
Yeah, they just flew clean off his body. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
it
see
does-
the wind blowing his hair there, too.
Yeah. This
And
is
that's
a
what he's got. I mean,
particularly windy
he's
day.
got a little carrot dick, you know?
Yeah, that's how it happens, man.
What the fuck?
I mean, some people have carrot dick.
So,
some people
Paul, you were
don't.
saying you wanted to divest yourself from political theater?
Well, maybe not the political theater angle of it, but the discussion of it. Totally.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why's that?
Because I'm just tired of it.
Aren't we all?
I'm tired of it, dude. I'm exhausted by the idea of having a political disagreement with somebody anymore. I'm just tired of it. I just want to sit back and enjoy the ride for a little bit.
I got
I
you.
want to coast. I want to cruise. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you've already gone up the hill, and now you're just going, let's ride it all the way down.
Yeah.
Just
Let's
keep
see what
it
that
rolling.
bottom is like.
I think we're going to find out.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a choice in that matter.
What goes up must come
I mean,
down.
hey, on a roller coaster, that initial long-ass crazy drop is the most thrilling thing. You know what I mean? Usually.
Yeah.
Usually, yeah.
I mean, times of
so,
stability and peace, I mean, they're great times, but I mean, our culture doesn't seem to be going through one of those times right now.
Nah, not even close, dude.
Yeah, we're pretty far off from that, so we're definitely on the downward slope.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching, I did my Abandon Hope last night. One of the things I watched was my good friend Rick Wiles, who was delivering the usual sort of like, if Trump gets impeached, there's going to be violence in the street kind of thing that you've heard a million times at this point.
Right.
But man, it was fucking funny. He was like literally like going on about how like it's going to be, this is the coalition he envisions standing up for Trump. He actually got into those details. It's going to be
Oh, cool.
cowboys.
Okay, I can see
Okay.
that.
It's going to be mountain men. And it's going to be veterans. It's going to be a coalition of cowboys, mountain men, and veterans.
This sounds awesome.
I know. They're going to rise up and they're going to hunt.
Bunch of Clint Eastwoods.
Right. They're going to hunt down Nancy Pelosi and show her some fucking frontier justice if she
Really?
fucking impeaches Trump. But I mean, like, I'm just sitting there like, you know, Trump's not going to get fucking impeached. You know, if okay, he'll get impeached in the House. That's probably going to happen.
Which means he's impeached.
Well,
yeah, it does.
It means he's impeached. Yeah, but he's not. It's not going to pass the Senate. You need a
Right.
2/3 majority in the Senate. It's not even close to that.
He's not going to be removed from office
There's-
as a result of the
Yeah,
impeachment,
correct.
is what you're
You've
saying.
got maybe one Republican who's on the fence about maybe supporting impeachment, and that's fucking Mitt Romney. You got no one else, I think, in the Senate who's even considering it.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of heard Kyle Kalinske making the same argument earlier, and I was like, man, that's kind of a can't-do attitude. Maybe it's
Yeah.
reflective of the actual political climate, but the idea that you can't muster together 20 fucking votes. I mean, go watch that movie Lincoln, dude. What happened to them days?
I don't know.
Get some guys out there with the hustle and the bustle and get them goddamn votes.
I just think you need something stronger on Trump to really flip Republicans. It needs to be to the point where even Trump's voting base is turning on him. If you get there, then maybe you can get some Republicans
And,
to
and at
switch
that point,
sides.
and at that point, Trump would resign.
Right. He's not going to wait to be impeached. He's going to fucking resign in disgrace like Nixon.
The
or
total
something.
witch hunt has come to an end as I, resign.
I will burn on the pyre as a witch for you. Yeah, that would be great.
I hope that when he
Throws up the double peace sign as he gets in the helicopter.
I hope that his resignation just is like him being like, "Rise up, my people."
Tear down the corrupt system. Drain the swamp.
Fill your hands with a gun and take back Washington, D.C. from the criminals.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, I really hope that he just tries to incite a revolution.
Yeah.
If it comes to that point where he has to
No.
resign,
Oh, no, it won't be like that, dude.
I just hope that's how it goes.
Trump has too much
I know
to
it's not,
lose.
but I love it. I like to get lost in such wonderful
If it came to
fantasies.
that, Trump would just cut a deal where he would be protected, and that's the only thing he would give a shit about.
I mean, when it comes down to it, dude, Trump,
Pence pardons.
as boisterous and crazy as he seems, he still takes orders, dude. And everybody knows it. The reason that he comes out and fucking corrects his statements, the reason that he backs off or disappears from sight after saying something stupid, the reason that his Twitter is only like 2/3 written by him and 1/3 clearly ghost written. You know what I mean? He's taking orders. Somebody's the boss of Trump. Somebody's telling Trump what to do, and there's no way they're gonna let him like call for a fucking revolution. There's no way.
I think they should let him do it.
Corporate mommy and daddy have got the chain.
Yank it.
So I've been sick of the depressing episodes we've been having lately.
Yeah, time for an uplifting episode, huh?
Yeah, what was the most recent one we did? Yeah, the
Tourist
tourist traps.
That
They're
was-
just places to take your money. Boo hoo! Depressing.
Bullshit. That's a damn lie, Paul.
Then we recently did one on Ozzy too. It's like, oh yeah, let's all prop up this clearly crazy old man and pretend he's like a legend as he slowly degrades. Well, Ozzy rock and roll, boo. That's fucking the most cynical, dark, depressing shit I can think of.
It's time for something uplifting and beautiful, right?
Exactly. We're gonna talk about the history of going insane.
I'm already feeling good and inspired.
A wonderful story filled with colorful characters, the first of which is on the screen right now. Good old Albert Einstein with his, just defining definition of insanity.
Cool.
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Wow, that's
Dude.
what a wise guy.
That is like TJ's life, though.
The problem, there's one problem with it that I can see, and it is rooted in the fact that Albert Einstein never said this.
Maybe he did.
What?
No, he never
Maybe
did.
he did, Paul.
He never did. There is no substantive evidence that Einstein wrote or spoke the statement. It's listed in a section called Misattributed to Einstein in the comprehensive reference, The
Dude.
Ultimate Quotable Einstein.
They obviously got
It's
it
a
wrong.
lie. It's a lie, man. It was
So-
Einstein that done it.
But you know what? It was a famous guy that said it, though. I'm not here to
okay.
shatter all your illusions.
Cool.
It was Ben Franklin.
Wow.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different
Well, that's a pretty
results.
weighty name there, so I can accept it still. It's
Benjamin Franklin.
I mean, he's on the $100 bill.
Benjamin motherfucking
That's all that I know about the guy.
Franklin,
oh, look, I
bitch.
know he didn't he fly a kite or some shit too.
Yeah, they put a key on a kite and you discovered electricity.
Yeah, I mean, look, he did some fucking shit.
He's a guy. He did things.
And
He's on my money. I like him.
the only problem is that he never said this.
What?
Damn it.
What the fuck, Paul? This episode's making me to fucking depressed.
I'm
dude.
sorry. I'm sorry to shatter
So
your illusions.
at first I had Albert Einstein. Then it's like, all right, well, that's pretty cool. Then we had Benjamin Franklin. I'm like, I can accept that. Well, who actually said it then?
And you know what? I think I forgot to pull a picture of him, but I do know that this is also attributed to Mark Twain.
Cool.
Oh, Mark Twain. Oh,
So
right.
basically anybody who they've been trying to fucking push this quote off on a lot of people.
Yeah.
Mark Twain done said it.
But I got interested in this, and I did a little bit of digging. It wasn't super hard, but it turns out that nobody really knows for absolutely sure who coined this phrase. It certainly isn't any of those famous people that we mentioned. But there may be an origin for it, and that origin may come from the this book is kind of credited with the idea, but it uses different language. So in this book, written in 1955, A Theory of Personality by George A. Kelly, here's a quote from it. See if you can see the similarity. From the standpoint of the psychology of personal constructs, we may define a disorder as any personal construction which is used repeatedly in spite of consistent invalidation.
So basically, yeah, I mean, it's
It's
basically
like the
the same
50
thing in
cent,
so many words.
Right, it's the 50-cent college word version of that
The
statement.
definition of insanity is doing the same. Yeah.
Right.
So basically, can't be, it's someone who, they can't be deterred by reality or facts. It's just like,
Right.
they just persist
TJ,
in whatever delusion.
They're consistently invalidated, but they persist doing the same things and saying the same things and acting in the same way.
You own a lot of books, TJ, but this is a book I think you need to have. A Theory of Personality.
It's a book you need, Scotty.
Nah, dude.
Teach you how to have a fucking personality,
You know what?
bitch.
I tried that a while ago. It didn't work, but I think, TJ, this could be more beneficial to you. 'Cause,
Why is
dude,
that?
You've been committing so many errors.
Error.
That
and
is
TJ,
so true.
if you could fucking look at those errors, TJ, maybe you could see, like we said, those maybe they're misinterpreted, whatever. I don't care about that, TJ. You do the same thing over and over again, and you expect different results. Look at your fucking videos, TJ. Why aren't your videos fucking taking off?
Doing the same thing over and over. Expecting different
Einstein
results.
or whoever, Benjamin Franklin, Mark Twain, maybe they all got together, had a powwow. Maybe they fucking invented it, TJ. But the point is you need to fucking turn your life around.
No, I don't want to.
All right, fair enough.
When it comes to the actual construction of the sentence, it's probably an Alcohol Anonymous phrase.
Cool.
Oh, weird.
It first appeared in print in the 1981 edition of Knoxville, Tennessee newspaper, describing a meeting of Al-Anon. It says an organization designed to help the family of alcoholics. The journalist describes the 12 steps of Al-Anon, which are based on similar steps employed in Alcoholics Anonymous. So this is like the families. Al-Anon is the families of alcoholics.
Oh, okay.
Weird.
So if you're not an alcoholic yourself, but you grew up in an alcoholic household, Al-Anon is the group you
It's like a support group for
Right.
people to deal with.
Right.
I
dealt with alcoholic parents.
yes.
So step 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Step 2 came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Now, one of the attendees at the meeting hesitated to accept the accuracy of the second step. Not all the women are willing to admit that they needed to be restored to sanity. In fact, one of them adamantly maintains that she'd never reached a point of insanity, but another remarks insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So
This was one of my dad's things that he fucking had set on auto repeat in his brain too. I remember he was constantly, and he would like, not only did he say it constantly, but he would always fucking like ask it. He'd be like, "What's the definition of insanity?" And it's just
Right.
like, I don't know.
It's definitely like a useful kind of little social tool.
It's
I
like some
guess.
little social axiom that people can acknowledge. Yeah, you're right. If you keep fucking up, you keep doing the same thing. You're never
I
gonna
found
change.
an article. I didn't pull it, but I remember a little bit from it that was talking about. It was a psychiatrist that was concerned that it's becoming kind of a damaging idea because people are using it more and more to justify stopping doing things that you're supposed to do repetitively, like asking out girls. That was one thing he gave. You know, he says he's increasingly seeing people apply this type of thinking and use this type of language.
Well, I failed once. Better not ever try again.
Right. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So I asked out 2 girls. They both turned me down, so I'm done for life.
Well, yeah, but it's
No
also,
more of this bullshit.
It's also fundamentally misunderstanding what that even is trying to say. It's not saying the problem is that they're trying to have a social life and meet new people. It's the way they're going about it.
Right.
Or maybe
But,
they just asked the fucking wrong people.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, maybe they asked out a fucking supermodel and they're a bum. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Right. Well, as with most dysfunctions, the answers are within, not without. But so this, of course, is not the actual definition of insanity. The true definition of insanity is the dated definition: a severely disordered state of the mind that usually occurring as a specific disorder.
So that's old school.
That's old school, and that's kind of the standard definition of insane that I think we think of, when we talk about it. Now it's become more of a law term. The insanity defense basically says that a person is incapable of understanding the moral gravity of their actions due to reasons of insanity.
Sure.
So that's really the only way that it's used anymore that has any weight according to the definitions.
Yeah, you don't really hear people call themselves insane, like,
Well, there's
mental illness and stuff, but a lot of times, pretty much insanity is used either colloquially,
Right.
like you're fucking insane.
Right, or Trump's fucking insane.
Right.
Or living in human society is fucking
The
insane.
only time it is an official designation, though, anymore, because obviously, we don't call mentally ill people insane.
No, nobody's categorized insane anymore.
That's not like a categorization other than legally, which, obviously it has a way more narrow definition there. Like someone could be mentally ill but not legally insane.
I mean, people might say it like, colloquially, like, "Oh, that guy's crazy" or something, or "He's insane." But yeah, like, I think now would be more like
he's a real fucking nut job.
He has schizophrenia. He has bipolar.
Right.
It's going to be more, specific.
So, insanity, from what we can tell, as it's defined in the archaic term, has existed since humanity has existed.
Makes sense.
But it invites a lot of speculation because there's no real way to know, especially in early humans. Like,
there's obviously not great records.
Yeah,
or
like,
anything.
what do we...
there are no records, and the very few records that we have give us very little to go on.
Yeah, we don't really have. You don't really have insights into individuals.
Yeah,
at
you
that
don't have
time.
that-
You
you
kind
don't
of have a general view of how people lived.
Well, we have some insights into
Do we have like a
individuals.
cave painting of a crazy dude or something?
They're beautiful cave paintings. So there were clearly individuals that were artistic
yeah.
and driven by that to create these huge, walls covered in these beautiful paintings.
Right.
Sure, yeah.
And that was also to convey information and stuff,
It
too.
was.
But in terms of how the insane were treated by the general population of humanity, we have no fucking clue. And really, I think all we can do is kind of extrapolate how really early in history, when we do start having records of these things, how were the insane treated then?
Well, I don't know that. I do know that it seems like it goes one of two ways. Like they're either totally shunned by society or they start to occupy like an almost shamanistic sort of place in society.
That's definitely two. I don't think it's one of two ways. They're either shunned or they could be hidden away by family members,
Right.
kept
Yeah.
from the tribe and fed and kind of locked up somewhere and not allowed. You know what I mean? That's incredibly common even today.
Right.
They could have been, like you said, elevated to some kind of shamanistic
Well,
position,
that was,
but that's only a particular type of crazy that's useful for that.
Right. And like in some versions of Christianity, people who are insane or mentally ill or even mentally deficient were considered like closer to God.
Like prophets and stuff.
Part of that is what led to the rise of Rasputin. I was reading a biography about him, and he was a little unhinged and stuff, and
Right.
because he didn't really make sense to people, they kind of assumed that he must have this great spiritual connection, especially since he was a bit of a huckster and was able to figure out ways to play into that.
Yeah, they read more into that. Well, also the fact that he, remember like was the meditation stuff with the Tsar that he was able to, and that's like a weird skill to have. Like he can hypnotize the kid, and then his blood flow returns kind of normal, so his blood can clot.
Right.
So I mean that's a valuable skill in itself.
Yep. When it comes to what actually happened in the day-to-day lives of those kind of cavemen, as we think of them, you can see we could spend an hour speculating about the different ways that they may have been perceived in society and what their lives were like. Sure. But our first evidence of treatment is right before you. This is a trephined skull. Trephination dates back to at least 6,500 BCE. So they found skulls that have been trephined, going back to prehistory. Early man widely believed that mental illness was spiritual or demonic possession, sorcery, the evil eye, or an angry deity, and so responded with equally mystical and sometimes brutal treatments.
So what is this like? We'll fucking we'll put some holes in your head, and then the bad spirit will fly away.
Basically,
kind of bullshit.
Yes. Trephining, also referred to as trepanning, first occurred in Neolithic times. During the procedure, a hole, or trephin, was chipped into the skull using crude stone instruments. It is believed that through this opening, the evil spirits thought to be inhabiting one's head and causing their psychopathology would be released, and the individual would be cured.
Yeah, he looks like he's real cured there, man.
Yeah.
They drilled holes in people's heads with crude tools to let the bad spirit go bye-bye.
I'm liking this uplifting tone this episode is taking so far.
Just
Absolutely.
the
That's
idea
a huge uptick.
The idea of medicine for so long was just like laughable. Like I'd rather they're just leaving them the fuck alone.
Well, you'll be happy to know, Scotty, that even though this, very brutal technique that, like I said, 6,500 years old.
Well, here's my question for you, Paul.
It didn't hang around long.
Oh, good.
Let me ask you this, though. Did it work?
Well, the answer is a little kind of murky because it didn't outright kill people the way you think it would, because there's evidence of skulls healing and people that were trephined multiple times, like the skull in the previous picture.
A minute ago, yeah.
And there's evidence that those bones healed and those people went on living. But right up until the Middle Ages and during the Middle Ages, this was a pretty standard practice. So we're talking thousands of years of human history.
And apparently you got to wear a fucking...
tens of thousands of
you
years.
got to wear a fucking weird oil funnel on your head while you do it,
Well, that's how
too.
you know you're the official Trifler.
So, yeah, you can see here, this is kind of a medieval representation of a man being trephinated. or trephined.
Trephinate.
Many skulls, like I said, show sign of healing and indicate that the patient lived for years after the event. So if people kept on doing it, maybe there was something to it. I did find an article about a female scientist in more modern times, I think back in the 80s, who trephined herself. She cut a hole in her head, like a little one, drilled a hole. Mm-hmm. She said she wrapped the whole thing in a scarf, made herself a steak, and then went out and had a drink or two. And she said she felt great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of relief, man.
But,
get that brain some air.
No, I'm sorry. I keep looking at this thing and just thinking this is like an album cover, dude. There's a guy with a book on his head. There's some fucking weirdo in the middle holding like, what is it, a fucking pot or something, or a vase?
Yeah, it's a woman, dude.
yeah, there's
That's a
evidence of this being used
The book on the head.
by all major cultures, too. This was widespread.
So this wasn't like exclusive to Western society or
No.
anything. This is all over the
This
place.
was done in China. This was done in, the Middle East. This was done widely for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
So what we know is humanity was a spectacular failure in treating mental illness for thousands and thousands of years.
Right.
Like, the only thing we could figure out is, like, there's something wrong in their head, so let's drill a hole in the head, then it will be better. Okay.
Hey, man, it's logical.
Gotta bounce those humors,
A little bit of logical deduction for you, Scotty. I know you're not comfortable with the application of logic.
You're right. Look, the cutting in this dude's brain, that's gonna fucking create...
Hey, it's not cutting into his brain,
Well,
right?
I think
you
what
just
Scotty-
put a hole in the skull.
I think what Scotty is arguing
Get the brain
for,
a little oxygen.
I think what Scotty is arguing for, if he'll allow me the indulgence, is that there should be a way to confront the problem directly without having to drill into somebody's skull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To go after what's really at the root of the
Yeah.
problem. Demons.
Yeah, man.
Okay, now I'm actually buying
So,
this
by the way,
theory.
this is showing you some medieval trephination tools here. So
Cool.
it went on long enough that things were industrialized to the point where they could have things made specifically to cut little chunks of people's fucking skulls open.
Yeah,
Like-
little specialty tools.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
so this was something that was done widely for a very fucking long time.
Long enough into humanity's history that we literally developed specialized tools to get it done.
And
Right.
going beyond just individual cultures, like you said, it was practiced widely.
But of course, that was all bullshit. Because at the root of it all is demons. Now, religious communities are notoriously tight-lipped about their exorcism rituals. And, I tried to find some Christian exorcism shit, but all I found was collections of Bible passages and blah, 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 blah.
Like
So I
Jesus
found...
casting the fucking legion into a bunch of pigs or whatever.
So I found this example from Mesopotamia,
Yeah.
which actually depicts and explains kind of, as you go through it, an exorcism. So you can kind of zoom in maybe on the different parts of this.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's the top row. So on top, there's divine symbols, like those typically found on boundary stones, including the symbol of Utu.
Ooh, two.
He was the Mesopotamian sun god. He
Cool.
represented truth, justice, and morality, according to Sumerian mythology. So all those little symbols up there are basically in celebration of Utu,
Okay.
who is the disc, by the way, with the sun in the middle of it.
Yeah, I figured when you said the sun, I mean, you can kind of tell.
Now, the second row gets a little darker. The second row shows 7 Galu, which is the root for the word ghoul.
Yeah, they look like Bebop and Rocksteady to me.
Yeah, they kind of look like the first two look like the poker playing dogs to me.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
But-
they have like a human-like body with a dog head.
These are demons that carried victims off to the Mesopotamian underworld, having the heads of
Oh,
animals.
those assholes.
Yeah. So these human hybrid beings are a common element amongst human depictions of demons. Third row of the hell plaque shows the actual exorcism rite.
Right.
This is fucking crazy if you actually look at it. In the middle, there's a possessed person lying on the bed. At the head or foot of the bed are priests, which are identified by their fish-like robes.
Yeah, they look like fish.
Right, so they dressed up like fish.
They dress up like giant in a
Yeah.
giant fish costume.
People,
Yes.
Fish people.
I love this.
Now, that indicated, of course, that they were priests of the water god, Ea.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Ea.
Okay.
So I don't know how I'm supposed to be saying that in
Ea.
Mesopotamian. Ea. I went with it.
Works for me.
There's a demon behind the right priest who's holding the other demons at bay.
Okay, so is that like a demon that's on their side? Or?
I guess so.
So they summon...
Because like there are good demons and bad demons.
Okay, cool.
Oh, it's like they're
Or
demon
there are
bouncer,
demons
dude.
that can be used against other demons. So they got their own demon.
And
What's
they have
smart?
themselves like a
Like-
little Pokemon demon battle.
Right. And he's keeping the other Gola demons at bay while they do the right.
Dude,
dressed like fish.
What the fuck? How have we not thought about this? And all the American horror movies, like a demon shows up. It's like, why don't they go like, you know what? You're a demon. I'm gonna call another fucking demon, and then you
Get
guys.
my fish suit. We're going to have
Yeah.
ourselves an exorcism.
That's what I'm
Yep.
saying, dude. These motherfuckers had to figure it out. Like, you don't fight a demon by just fucking going like, let's fight. You know, dude. It's like fuck that. You hire another demon to fight the demon for you.
Easy.
Duh.
The last row shows Lamatchu.
Whoa.
She's a demon depicted holding a snake in each hand.
Lamatsu?
Lamatchu.
Lamatsu looks fucking badass.
Yeah. She's breastfeeding 2 pigs
Awesome.
and kneeling on a donkey, which is her symbol.
Cool.
This donkey is resting on a ship sailing on water where there are fish swimming left to right, okay? To Lamatchu's left is her threatening husband, Pazuzu.
Pazuzu. I remember him.
We know that name.
Fucking Pazuzu.
Who's trying to attack her with a whip. Pazuzu got summoned by the priest in the exorcism rite to defend the patient from her.
Okay.
So it is just a big Pokemon battle.
Pazuzu is kind of a dick, man. That's his wife, right?
Well, yeah, but he's, whatever.
He's gotta keep
He's
her
the
in
only one
line,
that
I
can
guess.
keep her in check. He's a strong male figure.
And you could still buy these ceremonial garbs, by the way.
Nice.
Ah.
They're still available for purchase.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Who knew?
Just $429, and you can own that.
Now, Lamatchu wasn't necessarily associated with insanity. She was blamed for miscarriages. And so this would be a rite that a pregnant woman would undergo to make sure that Lamatchu gets her ass whipped by her husband.
Lamatchu, don't be killing that baby,
And don't
bitch.
be trying to steal
That's
the baby.
kind of kinky if you think about it, dude.
Don't murder the baby.
But you can imagine that there were rites that were similar for people who had gone mad, who had gone stark raving
Had
crazy.
gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
As I was looking into these ancient cultures, I found a little bright spot, honestly, especially in comparison with what this episode is. And it comes in the form of ancient Egypt. So, ancient Egypt. This is Pazuzu.
That's Pazuzu up
Yep.
close.
It's actually an amulet of Pazuzu,
Cool.
which was widely used by pregnant women to do just what we saw there in the abortion
To ward
rite,
off his bitch wife
to keep
from
his
killing
bitch
their
ass
babies.
wife. And there's, of course, the real face of Pazuzu.
Yeah, there's Pazuzu for real right there. All right, so on to the Egyptians, though.
Right. So Egyptians might have been one of the more forward-thinking cultures when it came to the insane.
Why do I feel like the other shoe is going to drop?
I mean, there's always another shoe, but this is actually a little bit of a bright spot.
Okay.
They recommended that those afflicted with mental pathology engage in recreational activities such as concerts, dances, and paintings in order to relieve symptoms and achieve some sense of normalcy.
Okay. That's not too bad.
That's an improvement.
Yeah.
Right. So they were also quite advanced in terms of medicine, surgery, and knowledge of the human body. There's 2 papyri dating back to the 16th century. The Edwin Smith Papyrus and the Ebers Papyrus.
16th century BC.
Yeah, BC, right. So, anyway, this just goes on about how medically advanced they were. But what little is known of their recommended treatments for people with psychological illnesses was to engage them in, social
Some sort of
events
distraction and shit.
and to give them some kind of a creative outlet and try and let them find a normal spot. Now, how often people were treated that way within the culture?
I'm assuming
Yeah, who can say?
that sounds like a way that you're probably more likely to be treated at the higher up the social hierarchical ladder you are.
Right.
Which I mean that's the case to this day, for fuck's sake.
They also kind of shared an early Greek belief that hysteria, craziness in women, was caused by a wandering uterus.
Okay.
This is kind of an interesting treatment for a woman that's showing signs of mental insanity. So there was a theory that when women went crazy like that, it was because their uterus had wandered to some other part of their body.
Oh.
Because it was such a powerful force that so they had to lure the uterus back into place.
Okay.
So the uterus could either be too high or too low. So if it was too high, you would put some foul-smelling, stinky shit up at the top of the body, up by the nose.
Oh, great. That
and
sounds
some
fun.
really good-smelling shit down by the pussy.
Right. And so the
uterus would be like
coaxing the uterus back down.
I'm not even lying to you. This is exactly what was done.
Yeah.
They would put if the opposite was true, if the uterus was too low, you got to scare that uterus away. So you put the foul-smelling shit down by the vagina and the good-smelling shit up by the nose.
How do they determine whether it was too low or too high is what I want to know.
Well, there was a whole fucking rigmarole about it. If it was too high, it was the woman was I believe it was if it was too high, the woman was aggressive and high-strung and manic. And if it was too low, she was depressive and sad and weeping all the time. So that's what I remember. But there was a lot of different interpretations of it, of course, because it's total fucking quackery. Like utterly.
Yeah, it's just based on a number of superficial traits, and then it's like, oh, well, this is this and that. This
but
is that.
We can extrapolate from our knowledge of that some women during these times experienced that weird fucking ritual of having stink put on their puss or whatever the fuck it was to scare their uterus away in response to what we now know is probably just standard human mental disorder.
Well, or just hormones from pregnancy.
Or that, right.
Especially in the advanced society, which the Egyptians were a fairly advanced society for their time. I mean, they probably want to have some sort of answer to this problem, and doing this ritual gave people at least something. Like, it's not just, oh, there's nothing we can do. It's like, oh, this ritual will help you. And I guess in some people it probably did, at least with a placebo or something, or just feeling that, oh, now I'm better because this ceremony was performed.
So, not to fucking, dampen our day on the Egyptians, but in addition to all of that, widespread exorcism and prayer was used.
Of course.
The singing of charms and casting of spells was, used. So there was,
right.
They weren't exactly the most advanced alien culture. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they had these, ultimately wonderful psych ward. No, people were still put through
weird
total hell
ritual bullshit.
Weird ritual shit that added nothing to their fucking sanity. Probably helped to break them further psychologically in a lot of cases.
You got demons in you. It's like, okay.
Who's the demons in your brain?
I love how the cures for insanity are in and of themselves fucking insane. That's always wonderful.
But I think it's because the other option is to admit that they're powerless and there's nothing we can do to help this person, and they're just gonna have to kind of live with their condition.
Well, it wasn't until about the 5th century BCE that we rejected the idea, because all of these ancient cultures we've talked about share one thing in common. They all believe that the root of these mental disorders and physical disorders in general were of supernatural origin.
Sure.
They were some kind of punishment from the gods or demonic possession. And it wasn't until about the 5th or the 3rd century BCE that we rejected that, or started to reject that, as a species. And it was Hippocrates who denied the long-held belief that mental illness was caused by supernatural forces.
I still remember, by the way, that time that Scotty's old friend Matt came up to me and was like, "Did you know there was a Greek philosopher called Hippocrates?"
Hippocrates, dude, yeah.
And I'm like,
he's
okay,
a fucking
so first
hypocrite.
of all, it's Hippocrates, and second of all, he was a doctor, not a fucking philosopher.
I'd say a bit of
Was Scotty's
both,
friend
maybe.
Bill or Ted?
No.
Hypocrites.
But one time,
Socrates.
I love when he would also tell me, he was like, he wanted to be a philosopher, and I remember one time we were walking down the street, he's like, "Are we walking down the street, or is the street walking down us?"
Oh man,
I remember. Does that
poet.
Does that
I know,
owl
right?
have all the knowledge in the universe?
Maybe, we saw an owl. He's like,
We'll never know.
maybe that owl knows all the knowledge of the universe, man. Like, no, it doesn't. It's an owl. It's just a stupid fucking
But how do
owl.
you know?
You don't know that.
Bro, how do
don't
you
that.
know, bro?
I guess I
How
don't.
do you know, bro?
Because there's no way that owl could have possibly acquired that.
Bro,
but okay.
bro, how do you know?
I guess I don't.
There you go.
So it was Hippocrates
Hypocrites.
that denied the belief that mental illness was caused by supernatural forces, and instead, now this is the
He was
unfortunate
then
part.
burned as a heretic.
Well, no, he wasn't.
Okay.
But the sad part about it is that rejection came with complete quackery as the counter argument, which was humors. I don't know if you guys have ever.
Yes.
The humors.
Your humors must be in balance, Paul.
So there were 4 humors according to this theory of the way that the human body worked, and you can see them here before you. Le cholerique, or the choleric humor. So that's like I think that's
Not much of an upgrade.
That's yellow bile.
Right. Okay.
Le sanguine, or the blood. So we all know what that is.
Blood.
The melancholique, I think that's black bile,
Ew.
which is supposed to bring you down.
Yes.
And the phlegmatique, or the phlegm.
Gross.
So these are the 4 things. You got black bile, you got yellow bile, you got blood, and you got phlegm. And those 4 things make up the human body, and they have to be in balance, because ideally, everybody has a little bit of each one of these humors in them.
Gross.
They, making up their personality.
Which is why bloodletting was so common.
But if somebody was crazy, they clearly were suffering from a misbalance of one of these humors. You see, the melancholique
Obviously.
causes people to be, if you have too much black bile,
Melancholy. Yeah.
you're a downer. You're sad. You're depressed, we might say.
You have to get rid of that black bile. Too much black bile. You got to get rid of some of it.
If you had too much of the yellow bile, if you had too much of the choleric humor, then it made you violent. So
Too
if you were
aggressive,
crazy,
yeah.
you lashed out. You were too impulsive. If you had too much of the sanguine, you were fat and you didn't. You were too lazy and you wouldn't get out of bed and you just wanted to eat. You had an eating problem, perhaps.
Cool. I need to drain some blood.
And if you had too much of the phlegmatique, or the phlegmatic humor, then you were standoffish and defiant, unwilling to listen to reason. So in that archetype, you find the kind of explanation for mental illness that replaced demons possess your body.
So only very slightly better than the demon explanation.
Could be your blood or your phlegm.
Now, at least they're now saying it's like stuff in your body.
Yeah.
So they're a little closer.
They've advanced.
I
mean-
will give this type of thinking its due. Not every idea that I just presented to you is necessarily bad. In fact, a lot of foundational understanding, like personality theory, was built on these 4 archetypes. They do kind of describe, in a very general way, people that suffer from mental illness.
So we're
People
not.
that-
They weren't totally on the wrong track then.
Right, people that lash out against others around them in a violent way, have too much, and that is a subset that exists. If you're taking a very broad look at mental illness, so it really was used as a foundational building block in the understanding of these different personality types that we know now make up this myriad of mental illnesses.
Well, it makes sense because, you have to remember at some point this is the most advanced sort of scientific theory, if you will, that existed on why people had this problem.
And when it comes to current, theories, it definitely has its building blocks in this type of thought. The idea that it wasn't God making you this way, it wasn't the devil making you this way.
Something wrong with you.
There was something in the human body that caused people to show these different kind of lashing out against.
Right. They started to go with a more
Which is
physiological
a leap,
explanation.
because,
That is obviously a
as
leap
Paul
forward.
pointed out, it's either a supernatural event. There's something. It was something from without, not from within.
But
Still a bit
ultimately,
silly, though.
if you look at this very simplified model, what each of these people are doing, if you display too much of one of these, is going against what's considered normal in popular society.
Right.
You're not, now, some of that is understandable, I think, even to this day. You're not supposed to lash out violently against people or be violent against yourself. But partying too much, look how broadly that could be interpreted.
Right.
Artists and musicians the world over could be accused of this and rounded up and given treatments that did absolutely nothing to balance out their sanguine humor.
Balance out them humors.
Same thing goes with the melancholic humor, which is represented here as somebody who's reading a book. And there's an interesting story that comes from way later that I'll reference real quick. There was a woman in this country that was arrested and thrown into an asylum for reading a book on the street at 5 a.m. as she walked to work.
Awesome.
So the idea that somebody that's more
She's obviously
pensive,
some kind of loon.
The idea that somebody that's more pensive or more, you could see people being wrapped up in treatments that they didn't need for just being studious, just being the type of person that's a little more inward.
So basically, yeah, we've diagnosed you with introversion to the asylum
yeah.
with you.
Well, that applies to today. When people are like, you need to get fresh air, go outside, move around. You don't need to be by yourself all the time. Like some people naturally are more comfortable just being alone. So
Right.
But it's almost kind of mind-boggling to think that at some point.
Okay, that's pretty loud.
Fuck.
I'm gonna go ahead and stop this for a second.
Yeah.
All right. After a little bit of technical bullshit, we're back.
Technical bullshit. The fucking guys were mowing the lawn right outside the studio with a leaf
technical.
blower that's the least technical.
TJ,
Yeah, what's up?
who in your household schedules your lawn maintenance? I believe it is you.
They just kind of come when they want. So.
Lie, TJ. You have committed another error.
Oh my god, I'm so sick of this.
Another TJ error, man.
I'm really gonna
They're
fucking...
just piling up like cordwood, man.
Oh my god, I hate.
Pretty
you
soon
guys
it's going to get so tall that the big tower of sins
You're
is
telling
gonna
me,
topple,
TJ, you can't ask him to come earlier or later, man?
I don't
Can't
know.
do that?
So
Damn.
what's Galen doing here?
Well, Galen was the Roman physician who kind of continued to popularize the humors theory.
Ah,
And I found this artist representation of him dressed kind of modernly for a period.
that's a very modern. I didn't know that the Romans had tuxedos.
Yeah, they have
and
those
shit.
black tie events. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I never knew that. I thought they
So-
just wore togas and bullshit.
He's credited right along Hippocrates for popularizing the idea of the humors and all that shit.
The blood, the phlegm, the bile, and the black bile.
Isn't it delicious?
I wish I could drink me a black bile milkshake.
I think
right
TJ's
now.
got too much phlegm.
You think I do?
Yep.
Let's see.
My name is. Oh, he smokes like a fucking chimney.
I don't really feel like I'm that phlegmy right now.
So, what did that mean for the treatment of people that had psychological disorders?
I don't know. What did it mean?
Well, in a lot of ways, during these times, having a psychological disorder was seen as like a social faux pas, kind of something that dragged the prestige of your family down.
Right.
And so oftentimes, especially around these times, you start seeing this crisis of homelessness where, and it still exists to this day. A huge proportion of the people that are homeless in this country right now are mentally ill and really have nowhere to go, and nobody's taking them anywhere.
Right.
So that practice really started during this time as families would shun these people and they'd end up wandering the streets. Now, some of them managed to make more of themselves than others. This is Diogenes here.
Yeah, probably the most famous of the rambling homeless dudes.
Right, but he was joined by many, many others who were probably not as...
The founder of cynicism, by the way, so props to Diogenes.
Yeah, good for him. Good old Diogenes. But when it came to like getting medical treatment for it, it was all stuff that was meant to balance out those humors.
Right.
So in order to bring the body back into equilibrium, patients were given emetics, which are things that make you puke, laxatives, which are things that make you poop, and they were bled using leeches or cupping.
Awesome.
So this was, if you had too much sanguine, you got bled for a while. If you needed to, puke up some bile.
And bloodletting is probably the most common one. That you'll see it in movies all the time, like roll up her sleeve. Obviously let loose some blood. But that's basically the theory behind it, is to balance the humor out by letting the blood being less blood in the body, then it balances the other humors out, so you're healthier.
Awesome.
So it was pretty common for them to take blood from the forehead at this time.
Gross.
Well, I didn't know that.
By tapping the cephalic, saphenous, or hemorrhoidal veins to draw corrupted humors away from the brain. So if you needed more humors in your brain, they might bleed you up at the top to draw more humors up that way. And if you needed less humors, if you had too many bad humors up in your brain, they might bleed you down lower, like on your leg, or I don't know, the hemorrhoidal vein. Is that your asshole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Draw
just-
the blood from your asshole.
With this artist representation of Diogenes here, was he also the inventor of the Jack in the Box?
I don't know.
I was kind of wondering that.
I thought that
No.
was a box of tissues, and he was getting ready to jerk off.
Oh no, Diogenes used to walk around with a lantern, saying that he
Oh,
was
it's a lantern.
He
Oh,
was
yeah, that's right.
looking for
The one honest man. or whatever.
the one honest man in Greece or whatever the fuck it was, something like that,
Yeah.
something along those lines.
I like to think
he was
it's
a
a
real
box of
smart ass
Kleenex.
motherfucker. Yeah, that was his Kleenex. When he jerked off, you know.
Yep.
Actually, Diogenes did publicly
Yeah.
masturbate
Yeah, was it-
historically, so.
Yeah, I always say it was hungry.
Then again, if you're homeless, where the fuck are you supposed to masturbate
Yeah.
other than publicly?
Yeah. What are your options?
Also, he's got these fucking dogs hanging around him. Anytime he probably got a scrap of food, those motherfuckers were on it eating before he.
Well,
couldn't
he was
get a
known
chance.
for preferring dogs to humans. I think cynicism is actually derived. I think cynic is actually derived from some Greek word for dog.
Really.
Yeah.
Well, in addition to making you puke or poop or letting blood out of you, there were customized diets as well that were recommended. For example, raving madmen like TJ
Yeah.
were told to follow diets that were cooling and diluting, consisting of salad greens, barley water, and milk,
Ain't no way she just following that diet.
and to avoid wine and red meat.
I just literally drank a bottle of wine last night, and
You love red meat.
I love red meat. I
So-
love all meat. Well, not all meat.
You need to cool
I
yourself.
don't like
TJ.
calamari, so there's that.
You got too much of that fucking. You need to bring down that humor, TJ.
All right.
You got too much of that sanguine humor.
Maybe that's true.
But as you can tell, even though we were at least attempting to take something like a scientific perspective on this, real genuine treatments for people like this consisted largely of having holes drilled in their heads,
Eat salad. Get
being
bled by
subjected
leeches.
to diets that did nothing, and medical treatments that were pretty brutal and did nothing.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's about time to watch a video about how illnesses were diagnosed in the 15th century, right?
Maybe
Maybe, perhaps.
we can check it out.
It seems to. Well, this,
Yep.
this is the point in the
Throw
document
it up
where
there.
it appears. So
Throw it up there.
let's do it. How to diagnose illnesses in the 15th century.
There you go.
In order to be able to diagnose illness, first and foremost,
Okay. Who is this guy? What is going on here?
Dude, he is the apothecary that you
Pan's
would go
Pantry.
to
Okay.
to get an examination and decide what's wrong with you.
All right, I got you.
you have to understand the causes of the illness. And one of the major causes of illness is understood to be a bad balance of the humours. Now, there are 4 humours. There's phlegmatic humour, sanguine, choleric, and melancholic humours. These apply at various strengths and various points in your life. When you're young, you will be sanguine. Now, when the humours are out of balance, the urine will change colour, and this is one of the ways of diagnosing it. This urine, which has been given me to examine, is
Okay, that's pretty weird looking urine. I gotta admit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That urine is out of whack.
I don't know.
You got that's fucking humors are out of balance for sure there.
He's gonna test it.
Is he gonna drink it?
very, very healthy. But it does have a slight red taster to it, and it also tastes slightly sweet. So
I'm surprised Paul of all people pulled this.
I know, dude. I couldn't believe that they were actually piss tasting back in the day. I had to put it.
diagnosis would be that he is suffering from a
Your piss tastes sweet. What's wrong with you?
Well,
Hey, look,
excess
this
of the
doctor's about
black-
to diagnose him, dude.
Hey, I'm trying to listen.
bile, and probably
You have
has
too much
drunk
bile.
a little bit too much red wine recently. So I would tend to suggest to him he should drink a little less red wine and possibly abstain from vegetables, because vegetables are not good for the health.
Makes sense to me.
Dude,
you
this
go.
guy sounds like TJ. Look, besides the red wine part, I think you'll accept that diagnosis. TJ, far too many vegetables in your diet.
Stay away from vegetables. It's like, no problem, Doc. This guy seems like he
Gotcha.
knows what the fuck he's talking about to me.
Dude, that's like the best doctor you could ever go to. He's just like, you know what? You don't need to eat vegetables anymore. You're fine.
Yeah,
You need more meat and potatoes, what to fortify yourself.
yeah. He did say less wine though.
Yeah, that's
I
the,
can live with that.
He said less red wine, so
It's a little
he's
square.
only
Hey.
suggesting you switch to like some white
White
wine.
wine.
He didn't say less pot, so I'm good with him.
Yeah,
Yeah, he had nothing to say on that front.
that's legit.
So for a long time, that was basically what you got. You either got families that would hide you away,
Drill a hole in your head.
drill a hole in your head, taste your piss,
bleed you, make you shit.
dress up like fish, and try and get a demon out of you. It was not great. Now I will say that out of all those ancient cultures, I think I'd rather be an Egyptian. I roll the dice on Egyptian. Because you know what? I might get a hole drilled in my head too, but then I'll get to go to a concert afterwards and I'll get to paint a picture.
That was fun.
Custody and care of the mentally ill, as we've said before, were generally left to the individual's family, although some outside intervention occurred. The first mental hospital was established in 792 CE Baghdad, interestingly enough, and soon followed by others in Aleppo and Damascus. But it was way later when mass asylums and institutionalization became kind of the standard.
Yeah, we just need a place to stuff these people.
Right. The mentally ill in the custody of family were widely abused and restrained, particularly in Christian Europe. Due to the shame and stigma attached to mental illness, many hid their mentally ill family members in cellars, caged them in pig pens, or put them under the control of servants. Others were abandoned by their families and left to a life of begging and vagrancy. So that continued to happen.
Real progressive attitudes towards mental illness at the time, for sure.
The social stigma attached to mental illnesses was, and to some extent still is, pronounced in countries that have strong ties to family honor and a reliance on marriages to create alliances and relieve families of burdensome daughters. So China, the mentally ill were concealed by their families for fear that the community would believe that the affliction was a result of immoral behavior by the individual and or their relatives. So I guess it kind of was thought that if somebody was retarded in your family or mentally ill or, functionally not literate, not whatever it was, the impetus was to hide that family member away because when that happened to
The
you,
community is going to look at it
Yeah,
like,
you're gonna be socially penalized.
oh my God, that family.
yeah, what
Have
did
you seen
what
their
did they
fucking
do?
son? He's a fucking psycho.
What did they do to deserve this? So it's kind of a retreat to more magical thinking.
Right.
Even though what preceded it briefly was tasting piss, and the humors were still widely practiced for a long time. The mentally ill were also thought to have bad fate in China that would negatively influence anyone who associated with the disturbed individual. So it's just like direct.
So even if you're like friends with them or whatever, or you associate with them on any level, it's like, oh, you're going to be tainted by this negative cloud of whatever force is punishing them will start to punish you too.
Well,
Right.
So the culture just pushed total social isolation of these people.
I think you can go to the next picture if you want, TJ.
I don't want. We're just going to stick with this for the rest
You
of
never-
the episode.
Filmed
Yeah.
at Kenilworth Castle, medieval living
fantastic.
village.
It's Paul's relative, dude.
You got to take the video down, homie.
Oh, shit. I thought we were fucking on the Pix thing.
You're wrong. Another fucking
So they
TJ
missed all
error.
this stuff, too.
Yeah.
Error.
I had this up
God
on the
damn
screen,
it,
or I
TJ,
thought I
what
did.
Oh my
the
God,
fuck,
TJ.
dude. TJ.
It's because I'm so fucking focused on Scotty saying error, I can't think straight.
You're blaming me for your
Yeah.
errors, dude.
So stop it.
You pointed out I made errors, and now I can't. I just made more errors.
Yeah, you're making me make more errors with your
A
fucking scrutiny.
self-fulfilling prophecy, TJ. A self-fulfilling prophecy.
You're a horrible person, Scotty.
That's fine.
You're a bad motherfucker,
Can
Scotty.
Paul actually do his episode now, TJ?
I don't know, can he?
I don't know. I don't
mean,
know.
are you going to allow it to happen, TJ?
But anyway, this is actually Paul's ancestor, dude.
Right. Yes, this is. Well, hold on. I don't know if it's time for that picture or not.
God damn it, TJ.
Well, you told me to go to the next picture.
Well, I didn't know that you were fucking 3 pictures deep already because you left the fucking video up.
the fuck, TJ?
There you go.
God, fucking error, dude. So isolation was the preferred treatment for mental illness beginning in medieval times, so it's no surprise that insane asylums became widespread by the 17th century. These institutions were places where people with mental disorders could be placed, allegedly for treatment, but also often to remove them from view of their families and communities.
Yeah, so it was more about, like, get them out of here.
Yeah, put them in a place where we don't got to look at them or deal with them or even acknowledge that they exist and just lock them up forever and forget about them in the memory hole, you know? And that's really kind of the operative genesis of the idea of the asylum. There was kind of this veneer of, oh, yes, we can treat them and make them better, but as more and more people kind of packed into them.
Which is a prison for crazy
Right.
people.
It was just a place where crazy people were kept locked up 24 hours a day to live in their own filth and subjected to various horrible, nightmarish fucking things, which we'll cover tonight in this
You ain't
uplifting episode.
Yeah, I really want to just say once again, that, I'm glad that we finally are covering a subject matter that's, I mean, like we just covered so much darkness and, horrible stuff. And now it's great that we can cover something that's just happy. And uplifting.
It's probably the most uplifting
Like,
episode.
I feel really, like, I don't know about you guys, I feel super inspired right now.
The joy of life is bubbling up inside of me.
This is probably the most uplifting episode, Paul, I would say, since unethical human experimentation.
Yeah, that one established the bar for a sunshine episode.
It did.
So the 18th century, I thought this was interesting. The 18th century saw the rise in England, the first consumer society of private trade in lunacy. Mad doctors, as they were then called, the double entendre would later cause specialists in the management of lunacy to search for a more respectable name. Marketed their madhouses as ways to save affluent families from the travails and potential disgrace of keeping a lunatic at home. And over time, they began to claim the ability to cure as well as immure the insane. The technological inventiveness of the Industrial Revolution was soon extended to devices intended to shock and startle the mad back to their senses.
Okay, that sounds
So it was
not good.
basically not only just a prison, because that's one thing, but it's also like a mad doctor, literally, experimentation lab, where these people that get disappeared down the memory hole can be exposed to things that if you were doing them to normal people, you would be run out of town with a pitchfork.
Yeah. But it's like you got a bunch of test subjects for whatever weird experiment you want to conduct
Yeah,
now.
and absolutely no oversight of any kind.
So now you can go to the next picture there and show us Erasmus Darwin. This is Charles Darwin's grandfather.
Erasmus Darwin Parkey.
Yeah, and this
is
this is proof that I am in fact directly related to Charles Darwin, because clearly this gene has expressed itself yet again in me. I don't have that much of a butt chin, though. I will say that.
He's much older, though.
Yeah, you're going to develop that over time, and you don't really know.
You don't
really
get
know
the
that.
chin cleft over time.
Yeah, you do, Paul. Sometimes you do.
I don't know.
And
In
you
the
know
In
what?
the Parkey family, I've heard that's true, Paul.
And Trump developed a vagina on his neck. You don't know what's going to happen to
Oh
you.
yeah, I forgot about the nuns.
And besides, you don't even know what's under your beard
Maybe
at this point.
maybe
true.
it's actually a nunt.
We
Paul,
might,
but
if we shaved you clean, we might see this guy.
we might see a nunt. I don't know.
Does Paul have a nunt?
I don't fucking know.
Hashtag where's the nunt?
So he kind of designed a swinging chair.
Oh.
And soon a variety of such devices were marketed, one promising that by increasing the velocity of the swing, the motion being suddenly reversed every 6 or 8 minutes, the consequence is an instant discharge of the stomach, bowels, and bladder in quick succession.
Sounds pleasant.
So you'd puke, and you'd shit yourself, and you'd piss yourself.
Vomit, shit your pants, and die.
Dude, but
awesome.
they balance the humors quickly then.
I think they're past the humorous thing at this point, right?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Because why would they want you to do all these things at once?
That's true.
So an American mad doctor, Benjamin Rush, created this special chair, one that binds and confines every part of the body. Its effects have been truly delightful to me. It acts as a sedative to the tongue and temper, as well as to the blood vessels. I've called it a tranquilizer. So this dude, clearly into bondage and shit, would subject crazy people to this chair for, you can see that
I feel like-
it's got a pot underneath it, so you can.
Yeah, you could shit in it and everything.
Yep.
And I feel like looking at this, I'm like, you know what? I bet you if I was insane and someone sat me in this chair for a long duration of time, I would just, snap out of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I just come to my senses, like, wait a minute.
One would think.
I'm sane now. But apparently it didn't work. It's crazy. Oh, this looks fun.
That's So others promoted a variety of devices designed to simulate drowning, though sometimes, unfortunately, the drowning proved all too real. So,
Oops.
Fuck,
but
dude.
it didn't matter because it was just one of the nuts from the nut house. You know what I mean?
We
Yeah,
tried
well,
to kill them. We did the best we could. They died. Oh, well.
You know how it goes.
So this next picture, I don't know if I could call her a badass or if she did indeed belong in a nut house. Maybe we can decide that.
Okay.
This is Nellie Bly. She was a reporter in 1887. She pretended she was crazy and got herself committed, all to help improve conditions in a New York City mental institution. So she was determined to get the scoop of what it's like to be inside one of these. She wrote, "The insane asylum on Blackwell's Island is a human rat trap. It's easy to get in, but once there, it's impossible to get out." So Other writers had reported on conditions at the asylum. Charles Dickens apparently did. But she was the first reporter to go undercover. What she found exceeded her worst expectations. There were oblivious doctors, coarse, massive orderlies who choked, beat, and harassed patients, and expectorated tobacco juice about on the floor in a manner more skillful than charming. So apparently they were just spitting chaw all over the floor and
Choking the patients.
Shut up, you crazy fuck!
Beating them.
yep, slapping them around.
While the doctors just kind of wander
Try
around
drowning them
aimlessly.
again. Let's dunk their head in the water for 10 minutes and see what happens.
She claimed there were foreign women who were completely sane who were committed simply because they couldn't make themselves understood.
Uh-oh.
She said there was rancid food, dirty linens, no warm clothing, ice cold baths that were like a precursor to waterboarding. She described the latter. She says, my teeth chattered and my limbs were goose-fleshed and blue with cold. Suddenly I got one after the other 3 buckets of water over my head, ice cold water too, into my eyes, my nose, and my mouth. I think I experienced the sensation of a drowning person, and they dragged me, gasping, shivering, and quaking from the tub. For once, I did look insane.
Yeah, it seems like they're really helping these people out, man.
And worst of all, there was the endless enforced isolation. What accepting torture would produce insanity quicker than this treatment? She writes, take a perfectly sane and healthy woman, shut her up, and make her sit from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., on straight back benches. Do not allow her to talk or move during these hours. Give her no reading and let her know nothing of the world or its doings. Give her bad food and harsh treatment and see how long it will take to make her insane. 2 months would make her a mental and a physical wreck. So almost as soon as she arrived at Blackwell Island, she dropped her crazy act, but to her horror, she found that that only confirmed her diagnosis. She said, strange to say, the more sanely I talked and acted, the crazier I was thought to be.
Yep.
So once you were in these places, you didn't come out. Like if you were falsely put into one of these places by rumor or innuendo or...
Oscar Wilde famously died at a place like this.
Right. Or if somebody had a vendetta against you and decided to get you committed, you could not convince them that you were sane.
It's all well, Paul, to protect our family from impropriety. It's just... I just can't believe that we actually did this kind of shit to people. I mean, I guess you can believe it, but it's honestly more merciful just to kill these people. Like, it honestly would be. If they just said you're mentally ill and put a bullet in their head, than to torture them to sit around and basically just do nothing their whole fucking life, no mental sort of simulation, nothing, but just to be a fucking prisoner.
Right.
And tortured, no less.
Below a prisoner.
Yeah,
'cause
below a
prisoners are, do 3 hot meals a day and a cot, and they get some outside yard time and shit. You're beneath you're literally like thrown in a dungeon.
And tortured constantly, every
Right.
day of your life.
And in addition to the torture of isolation, you're subjected to these constant experiments and bullshit, You're just kind of disposable.
I mean, like we talked about like the Nazis in that episode we did on human experimentation, but I mean, this shit's just as morally reprehensible to lock somebody up because they don't even, and like you even said, like, she revealed, I'm not crazy, and they didn't care. It's like, nope, you're crazy. We're gonna keep doing all this shit to you. You'll never leave here as long as you live.
So Nellie,
The
after
sane crazies are the craziest crazies of all.
right. So Nellie, after 10 days inside the paper she worked for, The World, sent a lawyer to secure her release. So you were able to throw your weight around with money, basically.
Good.
And
Yeah.
she got out, wrote the kind of expose that really enlightened a lot of people to the horrible conditions inside of these. I pulled this next one. It's a list of actual reasons people were admitted to the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum from the late 1800s.
Intemperance and business trouble.
Oh, shit. I'm going in
Oh,
now.
fuck, dude. Kicked in the head by a horse.
Of course.
Yep.
Hereditary predisposition. Okay.
Yes.
Ill treatment by husband.
Yes, of course.
Your husband beat you,
Oh,
so now you get to
this one, dude. This
imaginary female
Yes.
trouble.
That's incels.
Yep, come on.
That's incels right there.
Hysteria, immoral life.
Oh, God, guys.
You're
we're
just
in.
you're just a bad person. You haven't committed any crimes. We can send you to prison. You're just bad.
Imprisonment.
Imprisonment. Okay. Jealousy and religion.
All right, send me in. Jealousy.
Laziness. Uh-oh.
Oh, fuck. I'm fucked.
Marriage of son.
Okay.
All right, then. Masturbation and syphilis.
Fuck.
Masturbation for 30 years.
Fuck, dude.
That's one hell of a jerk sesh.
Oh,
Yeah.
medicine to prevent conception.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Menstrual deranged.
That's a dude. PMS was
Yeah,
taken
that's
a lot
like
more seriously back in the
chicks
day.
men-
Mental
PMS.
excitement.
Novel reading.
Novel reading.
dude.
Don't do it. Nymphomania.
No, I don't see why they should commit any woman for that.
Opium habit. Overaction of the mind. Overstudy of religion.
We need that one brought back.
Yeah.
Overtaxing mental powers. Parents were cousins. Uh-oh.
Oops.
They should have thought about that before your parents decided to fuck because they're cousins. Periodical fits.
This next one, you're fucked. TJ.
Tobacco and masturbation.
Oh, you guys are both fucked, Paul.
Oh my God.
Political excitement. Politics.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Religious
Well,
enthusiasm.
I'm good on that one. I'm safe.
Fever and loss of lawsuit. Fits and desertion of husband. Asthma. Bad company. Bad habits and political excitement.
I mean, you could go on and on. This list is huge.
Bad whiskey.
Bloody
Bloody
fl-
flux. Brain fever, etc., etc.
Bloody fucks is
etc.
dysentery, basically.
It's all.
Oh, God.
It's literally all just totally fucking ambiguous shit that could be interpreted in a number of ways that literally got people thrown into this asylum.
I love one of the items on here is excessive sexual abuse.
The war.
If it was just a little bit, it'd be
Somebody
okay,
was
but-
put in there for a gunshot wound.
Wait, what? Suppressed masturbation? So wait, you get put in if you masturbate, and if you don't masturbate, you still get put in. I'm not going to jerk off. You suppressed it.
You suppressed it. Get in the fucking asylum, bitch.
Excessive sexual abuse? What the fuck?
Well, dude, one of them is hard study.
What?
Studying, huh?
Apoplectic fits.
Seems crazy to me. You're
Drop-
going to the
what the fuck
fucking...
is dropsy?
Dropsy, I think, was like losing consciousness or whatever the fuck.
Oh, okay.
I think it was a disease.
Dropsy,
Dissolute habits, TJ.
Greediness, too.
Snuff eating.
Female disease. False confinement. What? Self-abuse. Okay.
So, wait, you're falsely confined. I think what you need
Throw
is
you in the
treatment.
mental ward.
Greediness.
Some
Oh,
more
shit,
false
TJ.
confinement.
Dude, greediness can put you in there, dude. We're
Yeah,
definitely
everyone's...
going
We're fucked.
So
10 things that could get you sent you... Is this today still?
no, these are just things
just
in
in the past,
history.
okay.
Yeah,
So
in the
here's some
early
more.
1900s.
These are some stories, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so speeding, huh?
Yep. So, are you nuts for speeding? Back in 1922, you might have had your head checked if caught speeding in Detroit, although some judges would have just thrown you in jail. A headline in one newspaper read, "Sanity Test for Detroit Auto Speeders." If any speeder failed the examination given by the court psychiatrist, he or she would be sent to an asylum for treatment. Just exactly what treatment was left to the imagination. These same speeders would also lose their driver's license. I don't know what they would do with those. Locked in a mental ward, getting holes drilled in their head and shit. They would lose their driver's license and would not only be not be allowed to apply for a new one.
Nope. Too crazy to drive.
One judge stated, "I believe this new method will stop thousands of accidents per year. The police commissioner has told me that under my plan of sending speeders to jail, and notwithstanding the fact that there are many thousands more automobiles on the streets this year than last year, there were 3,301 less accidents, that reckless driving has been cut down to 50% from 80%. Is this the result under my jail sentence plan? What will it be under the mental test plan?"
The land of the free. My jail sentence plan. Speeding? Lock them away.
So TJ wanted he remarked that too much studying on the earlier list. So here's a little background
So
for
here's
that.
how that works.
The Day Book, a newspaper out of Chicago, reported that 2 sisters had been sent to the asylum under orders from a county judge. Apparently, the poor dears were hard at work studying the doctrines of Christian Science, and their minds broke down. Christian Science was founded in 1879. It was started by Mary Baker Eddy when she and 15 followers founded the Church of Christ. It's a religion that's still practiced today and is widely known for its controversial faith healing, blah, blah, blah. So these chicks were studying the wrong Christian doctrine too much, and
Crazy.
You got to
They
be
got-
committed.
they're crazy. They got thrown in.
Reading in the morning.
Now, this is one of the most disturbing things I've ever heard. You wake up in the morning, right? You got to brush your teeth, you got to take a shower. But if you're going to read, there's something wrong with you.
So the following snippet sounds like something from a dictatorship where everyone's moves must be controlled. Sadly, this report came out of Chicago in 1915. Alice Ostwald, found on corner at 5 a.m. reading novel, sent to insane asylum.
Well, obviously.
She could have easily been any avid book reader. I mean, we all know that you can get lost in a book And why would she be outside? Well, probably for the light. Street lamps were probably the only light that some people had at night at this time, especially if they were poor. So she was probably just looking for a little light to read by, ended up thrown in the fucking puzzle factory forever.
You're obviously insane.
Now, this one, I do agree, you need to be thrown in the...
Right.
Having a drunken... Who goes and has a drunken father, dude?
Dude, I mean, I'm going to tell you what. One time, my dad came home a little drunk, and I was like, fuck, am I crazy?
I might check myself in.
Yeah, I very seriously considered checking myself into a mental asylum. I'm like, excuse me, my father was a drunk.
He was a drunk.
Yeah. In fact, actually, you know what he actually did, TJ, during that time? We watched He Wants to Be a Millionaire, and he was like, it was like some Superman question, and he just yelled at the screen. I thought it was like, what was Superman's like catchphrase in that show? And was like, "Great Sid is fucking ghost." And in that moment, the insane asylum people broke in and took me and TJ away.
So listen to this rationalization.
Yeah.
The Daybook in 1913 published an unsettling report titled, "Shall we build more asylums or stop breeding epileptic, idiotic, and insane children?" In the article, the reporter investigated the root cause of the increase of insane children and the needs to build more institutions. He found that poverty and a drunken father was the cause of idiotic children. He presented the common case of a poor wife and mother who is brought into the juvenile court with her 6 children. She has no money for food or rent, and her husband is a drunk. She wants to leave her husband, but she can't because she needs the few dollars he sometimes provides his family each month. The judge is then faced with a tough decision. According to the article, 2 roads lie open before the judge, who hates to take either of them. He can order the mother to kiss her children goodbye forever and put them into an asylum. Or he can reprimand the drunken father, order him to support his family, and send the wife and mother back to live with him. Seems like a little bit of a false dichotomy.
Yeah, those are the only choices.
They can go to the insane asylum, or
all right, so either I can institutionalize your children, or I can put you back with your abusive alcoholic husband.
I can tell you.
Your choice.
In other words, there was no actual proof that any of these children were insane. They could still be sent to an asylum for circumstances totally beyond their control.
Yeah, basically, you're poor, and we need someone to fill up this asylum. It sounds like this is kind of a racket, too.
Well, I mean, you didn't even have to have a drunk father because just being poor could get you thrown into the asylum.
Yeah, there you go.
Old newspapers are filled with accounts of poor people being sent to insane asylums. This often happened to women who had to rely on a husband's income if they wanted to survive. In 1913, there was an account of a woman who had worked as a stenographer. At 45 years old, she came to a critical period in her life. She was unable to work. She took the time off that she needed, but eventually she ran out of money. She turned to a group called United Charities for Help, and they immediately had her judged insane and sent to an asylum.
Some help they were.
She was held there as a prisoner for 5 years. At age 50, she was released and went on to sue the county for false imprisonment.
At least she was able to get out at some point.
So another story from 1921, African-American woman was found wandering the streets in her bare feet, carrying a 5-month-old baby in her arms. Both the mother and the infant were placed in the insane asylum simply because the woman's sister had also been placed in one before this incident.
Hey, aren't you the one with that crazy sister? You probably crazy, too. Come into the asylum.
So
there you go.
Just being poor and having no way to support yourself was enough to get you thrown into one of these places. Because,
awesome.
You know, once again, as a homeless person or a vagrant, you're just somebody that polite society doesn't want to see or deal with.
To the asylum with you.
Well, that they could probably profit off you being locked away.
You know, dressing like a man. Another reason women landed in asylums. You can't be wearing pants. Can't be wearing man's shoes and man's shirts. And
this one I agree with. I mean, this is a fucking sin against nature right here.
Yeah.
Yep. So one morsel found in a 1916 paper read, Miss Emma Miller, sent to insane asylum, put on pants and worked as man.
Well, guys,
fuck.
I mean, most of the episode we've rallied against this, but this one, I mean, we have to acknowledge it probably makes sense.
This bitch crazy.
If a woman puts on pants, tries to work as a man, you know where she belongs.
While there's no proof that she was transgendered, it's interesting that people at the time were offended by a woman who would dare dress like a man, let alone work like one. Sadly enough, in those times, women could not earn enough money to survive on their own as women. They had to marry to survive. So people that couldn't do that little social dance often ended up, just kind of chucked in the fucking madhouse if they tried to support themselves.
You crazy bitch.
Epilepsy. So something totally unrelated to mental illness, epilepsy, biological disorder. Epilepsy used to be, and sometimes still is, blamed on demonic possession. But over 100 years ago, people who exhibited signs.
Maybe it's controversial, but
Yeah.
I actually do believe that.
Yeah, you think it's demons in there?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few people go into epileptic fits, and I got to say, I felt the presence of the demons there.
Did you smell like duty or
Yeah, I
sulfur?
smelled sulfur.
Yeah?
I smelled
Were there
the
flies,
scent
too?
of brimstone. Yeah, there was flies.
Yeah.
And I kind of
Spiders.
heard the devil faintly cackling in the background and shit. You know,
What kind of cackle does the devil have? Is it more like a or is it
it's definitely more like it was kind of like I said, it kind of felt like it was a little far away.
Yeah.
But I did hear like a like kind of like in the distance.
Right.
So yeah, I would say it's closer to that second one.
Sure wasn't you that was laughing, TJ?
It might have been.
How about having sex with a jerk?
Damn.
I mean, in fairness, we do need to discourage jerk sex.
That is true. So in 1896, a report came out about a young woman who had a thing for old men.
Oh, man.
We're all in trouble. She had apparently gotten in trouble for her desire for older men in the past, but that didn't stop her. She eventually met a well-known old man
well-known old man.
and claimed that they had sex.
I'm a well-known old man. Let's fuck.
She wanted him to make the situation right and marry her. The man refused and charged her with insanity. That bitch crazy.
She wants to marry me? She's insane. I don't want to get married. I've never seen her before in my life.
The young woman was examined, and the commissioners concluded that she was crazy and ordered her sent to the asylum. Sometime later, it was discovered that she was pregnant. The asylum could no longer keep the young woman because the asylum was not a safe place for a pregnant woman, not to mention that someone obviously had sex with her as she had claimed. So it kind of proved her innocent, I guess. The young woman was returned to the county, and no further details were given about what happened to her.
Dude, she's lucky she got knocked up by the dude.
How about being just tired, not being able to work long hours, or being
That's
hurt?
pretty crazy. You're crazy.
One lawyer in the Associated Employers Association felt that workers who could not work the number of hours required by the employer should be examined by a physician, and if not able to do the work, should be sent to the state asylum to be taken care of.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Love it.
You can't be a slave to this giant company? You're insane.
Yep. So I wonder, like, the Associated Employers Association.
Yeah, it's kind of a redundant.
Wow.
Department of Redundancy department.
Well, at the
kinda-
bottom, it kind of gives you a clue as to why. I mean, obviously, if they did, it's a good threat to use against somebody like, hey, you don't want to work? You can be sent
That's
to a
fine.
fucking state asylum.
We
You
can
wanna-
just send you to the crazy house.
want to show up on Saturday and work? Yeah, I'm fine.
And I can't imagine this one ever happened, annoying the wrong person.
Now, this one I think should still happen.
In the early 1900s, you had to be careful who you annoyed. Take, for instance, Mrs. Helen Pike. She was sent to an insane asylum for annoying a streetcar magnate in 1917.
Yes, right.
No reason was given as to why she was annoying the man or how he found her annoying. She was simply taken before the courts and sent to the asylum. Of course, that's not as bad as annoying the President of the United States. In 1916, Richard Cullen was sent to an asylum, possibly for life, because the youth made persistent efforts yesterday to reach President Wilson while the chief executive was on an automobile tour of the city. So,
Why would President Wilson want to meet this common riffraff?
thrown in the fucking dungeon.
Away with him!
President Woodrow Wilson waved his hand, and this man's life just disappeared into a torture hole.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Doesn't that put into kind of perspective that Trump booing shit we watched at the top of this
Yeah,
episode?
that's why I played it, to come back full circle to this.
I mean, look at this shit, dude. If you just tried to talk to the president a few times while he was taking an automobile tour, right.
Trump,
But
throw
now-
him in the asylum.
But now, literally, a fucking like a total stadium filled with people can boo him to his face, and he
I
can't
think
do shit.
I think that stadium of people needs to be sent to the asylum.
Lock them all up.
You might be right, TJ.
Don't lock Trump up. Lock them up.
So I thought we'd take a look at some individual asylums that were considered to be really nasty. Ranchos Los Amigos. Oh boy, what a happy sounding name. Ranch of the Friends, dude.
Ranchos Los
It
Amigos.
sounds like a place you'd go to get like a fucking number 3.
You know, there's to be some euphemistic bullshit to it.
Yeah, let's go. I love the fucking nachos over at Ranchos Los Amigos, man.
Only problem is once they get you in there, you kind of never leave.
Dude, if I was held
I think
before,
I'll get a chili relleno today.
if I was hauled before a judge and sentenced to fucking life in Ranchos Los Amigos, I'd be excited at first.
Yeah,
I'd be like, holy shit, dude, endless fucking chips and salsa and beans and rice, dude. Fuck yeah, Ranchos. Bring me one of them giant fucking margaritas. Yeah, blended. Do it rainbow style too. A little dribble of each
I have
type.
to say, Paul, judging from the outside, it doesn't look like that kind of place, man.
No. Located just miles from downtown LA, Ranchos Los Amigos was originally created in 1888 to assist people living in poverty.
That sounds good.
Here they could work in exchange for care from the local government. Hey, that sounds pretty good. Over time, the grounds were extended and the space evolved into a hospital. Eventually, it grew to include a mental hospital. Though the hospital itself is still in use, it has moved to another location. In the 1950s, it began to shut down its wards, including the mental hospital. On the way, some gruesome secrets were discovered. In 2006, during a training exercise, Marines uncovered a freezer in the morgue. Inside, they found mummified, amputated limbs and brain tissue samples that were left behind from when the hospital was abandoned.
Cool.
This is Creedmoor Psychiatric Hospital in Queens, New York. Creedmoor opened in 1912 as the farm colony of Brooklyn State Hospital and is still running in Queens. There are some places that have been abandoned to rot, most notably Building 25, which the hospital ceased using only in 1975. This ward gained its reputation from a series of reports documenting brutal treatments of the patients. In the 70s, rumors began to emerge about an abundance of patient abuse, including rapes, murders, suicides, and beatings. In 1984, a nurse's aide hit a patient in the throat with a blackjack. The man, Robert Venegas, was restrained in a straitjacket at the time and died due to asphyxiation. She crushed his throat. So that was apparently the straw that broke the camel's back, and shortly after, the asylum was closed.
Aw.
Athens Lunatic Asylum. That's literally a body stain from this place.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it.
Built in 1874 and originally intended for tending to tuberculosis patients, Athens Lunatic Asylums housed patients far over its capacity for most of its functioning years. This overcrowding caused the care for each patient to decrease until the hospital began abusing its patients. Athens, also then called the Ridges, another nice name, is notable because of its famed physician, Dr. Walter Jackson. Dr. Jackson was a big fan of the transorbital lobotomy, which we're going to cover.
Yeah.
We're going to cover that in detail a little later.
Okay, cool, because that's a horrible fucking thing.
Calling it the cure-all for every mental illness. He performed over 200 lobotomies during his time there. While there were hundreds of deaths when the hospital was open, the most famous is that of Margaret Schilling. She went missing while on the ward, and no one either noticed or cared. Over a month later, her body was found locked in a room in an abandoned part of the tuberculosis ward, and that's her stain there that we just took a look at.
There you go.
Still,
the stain
apparently
of
still
Margaret
visible.
Schilling.
Yeah, she was left to rot so long that it's permanently stayed in the floor.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Newton, Connecticut had Fairfield Hills.
Fairfield Hills.
Open to ease the overpopulation of the other two mental hospitals in Newton. Fairfield Hills quickly became overcrowded itself and resorted to unconventional methods of treating its patients.
Oh, shit. Well, considering how bad the conventional methods were, I don't even want to know.
Aside from the then normal lobotomies and Thorazine prescriptions, the hospital became known for its use of hydrotherapy.
Hydrotherapy.
You're thinking that's not so bad, right? Not exactly.
It sounds bad.
Used as a calming method, the treatment involved patients being submerged in ice water, sometimes for more than a full day. They were not permitted out, even to relieve themselves. Many locals believe the remnants of Fairfield State Hospital to be haunted. Well, who cares about that? They should be haunted by the horrible abuse that went on in their community, and not the boogly oogly ghosts that aren't there.
The ghost of those who were mistreated there.
The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in Weston, West Virginia.
That place doesn't
Cool-looking building.
No, that
Yeah.
place does not sound inviting at all.
No. So let's see. The it began just in time to admitting soldiers from the Civil War who probably had shell shock and shit like that. At the time, there was no understanding of shell shock or PTSD. The doctors treated their understandably traumatized patients by doling out lobotomies and other brutal tactics.
Sure to cure them.
Some hydrotherapy for you.
During the century it was running, thousands of patients died there. Most were buried in mass graves on the grounds. Its most famous patient, Charles Mason, not Charlie Manson, lived there in latter years of the hospital's functioning. After decades of mistreatment and abuse, the Trans-Allegheny closed its doors in 1994.
Yep. When I was 9 years old.
Fantastic. I was 14.
Apparently they do ghost tours now there, too. So a lot of these old asylums are a big...
Oh, people love them.
It's like they're haunted,
Well, it's because it's so widely believed these places were just places of torture and people were in prison there.
I mean, if any place was haunted, it'd probably be some of these fucking places.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you hear about the abysmal conditions that people lived in for so long, I mean, this place is open for 130 years. I mean, how many people fucking just died there and abused here to death and tortured to death and locked away? I mean, like, plenty of sane people. Like we said, it wasn't just crazy people. It's like, you're poor, so you're just going to be locked up here. That's it.
Let's take a look at a video entitled Early Treatment of Mental Disorders.
It's just some video of some of the treatments that people endured in these places.
Let's take a quick look at that.
During the first half of this century, mental hospitals tried to use medical treatments for people with severe mental disorders. However, the medical procedures used were crude, largely ineffective, and often unintentionally cruel. Some of the leading approaches
I think it's giving them a lot of credit to say that it was
unintentionally.
unintentionally
maybe some
cruel.
people were unintentionally cruel, but I think there was definitely a malicious intent in a lot of this
It's
stuff.
kind of hard to not realize you're being cruel to someone when you're doing some
when
of these
you're
things.
when someone's screaming in agony and suffering, and then it's unintentional.
It's part of your treatment. We're trying to cure you now.
We're trying to help you. You'll stay in the water all day.
You just sit in the icy tub and you're not allowed out no matter what. Just sit there and suffer.
Shit your
It's for your
britches.
own good.
are shown in this segment. A popular technique was hydrotherapy, in which patients were sprayed by water in order to stimulate them. The wet pack consisted of packing, that is, wrapping patients in wet sheets.
Okay. And what was that supposed to accomplish again?
They're wrapped up.
Yeah, they're wrapped up in a way that they can't do shit, and you can walk away for a little while.
All right, this will distract him.
Pack him in like a sardine. He's fine now. No danger to himself or others.
This next procedure, the continuous bath, was kept at 98 degrees Fahrenheit. Its aim was to sedate patients.
That doesn't sound that bad.
So they're just like strapped into the
Hot
tub.
boxes and lamps were used in order to help relax patients.
Go in the hot box.
Yeah, just go in the hot box and sweat out.
Yeah, because the nurse was standing with you the whole time.
Sweat out the crazy a little bit.
You just weren't locked in there permanently.
A predecessor to electroconvulsive therapy was insulin therapy, although this approach was more dangerous and less effective than ECT has since become. Insulin therapy was developed by Viennese physician Manfred Sackel. It was used primarily on patients with schizophrenia. The idea was to give patients insulin, which would make their blood sugar drop. The patient would then slip into a coma, and most importantly, would experience a convulsive reaction.
So if you pause this, I actually read a little bit more about this.
Okay.
And there was a really false, widespread medical idea that epileptic people could not be schizophrenic. There was such a low incidence of people that had both epilepsy and schizophrenia that doctors made the old correlation equals causation maneuver.
And like, so wait a minute. If we make them epileptic, we will cure their schizophrenia.
And so they would literally be put into insulin comas with this insulin therapy and would be given doses of insulin so high that it put them into seizures in an attempt to fix whatever's wrong in their brain by giving them the seizures that apparently made epileptics immune to being psychopaths.
Okay. Gotcha. Awesome.
And I'm
Sounds
sure
great.
it worked, too.
Yeah.
One
Like a
form of
charm.
reaction brought about by insulin therapy was called wet shock because it included profuse sweating and drooling, as seen here.
Looks great.
Yeah. This is basically medical torture. Yeah, look at him writhing in agony. He's being cured. He's feeling better already. Yes, oh, he's having a seizure. That'll do away with the schizophrenia.
So, I mean, these were done at least up until there were the ability to take relatively high-quality moving pictures of it. So you can imagine that some of this shit just continued on at these places right up until when they were closed, or variations of these things, whether it was restraint or constant isolation.
Another reaction brought on by insulin therapy was so-called dry shock, involving a full brain seizure.
Fantastic.
Especially how damaging to have a seizure is to your mental state and like your well-being is to begin with. Like if you ever
Well, it's dangerous to put your body in that type of distress. I mean, people have heart attacks.
Glucose, given by nasal tube or by injection, was needed to bring patients out of their insulin-induced coma.
In looking into this, you can imagine that many of them never woke up from said insulin-induced coma.
The glucose ain't working. All right, well, throw him in one of the mass graves out
Yeah.
back, I guess.
he's dead. Oh
Better
well.
luck next time.
I mean, he's still alive. He's just in a coma. Throw him in the mass grave. He's dead. Dead. Got to clear a room. They're already overcrowded since everybody's fucking crazy. You got to love it.
Yep. So let's talk a little bit. We kind of skipped over the subject a little during the 10 asylums you don't ever want to be committed to. But let's talk about lobotomy. This is Portuguese neurologist Igaz Maurice, and he believed that patients with obsessive behavior were suffering from fixed circuits in the brain. In 1935, in a Lisbon hospital, he believed he had found the solution. I decided to sever the connecting fibers of the neurons in activity, he wrote in a monograph titled How I Came to Perform Frontal Luectomy, which is what it used to be called. His original technique was adapted by others, but the basic idea remained the same. Surgeons would drill a pair of holes into the skull.
We're back to that, huh?
Yep. Either at the side or top, but this time they would go a little further.
Right.
And push a sharp instrument, a luectome, into the brain. So I've got some pictures of this, I think.
Uh-huh.
This is one of the early tools that was used.
Looks like a pleasant fellow.
So you can see it could just be kind of shoved into the hole, and
Yeah.
it was basically
Just going to stab this into your fucking head and root around a little bit. And, you know.
that's exactly what they would do. If you go to the next one, it kind of shows what they would do during this. If you blow it up a little,
Yeah, you take the bad
you
part
stick
of the
it in,
brain
and
out.
you see the arrows. You stick it in, and then you wiggle it back and forth to sever these fibers, and you would do it on both sides of the brain. You drill 2 holes.
You stick the luectome in, you stick the luectome out, you stick
Yeah.
the luectome in, and you shake it all about.
This won't wreak havoc on the person's mind at all.
And then, you know what? The great thing about this is it ended up curing insanity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like, all the techniques we've looked at up until now, this is really where the story takes a happy turn, because it turned out that all you needed to do was
jam a rod in somebody's brain.
just jam a rod in the brain, wiggle it around until they're fucking sane.
Oh, yep. Then those crossed wires. Whoop.
No more fucking schizophrenia, no more fucking bipolar, no more none of that shit. You're fine now.
Maybe you're right, TJ, because Moniz reported dramatic improvements in his first 20 patients.
Wow.
The operation was seized on with enthusiasm by the American neurologist Walter Freeman, who became an evangelist for the procedure, performing the first lobotomy in the U.S. in 1936 and then spreading it across the globe. So while Igaz Moniz might have first done the procedure, this guy here, Walter Freeman, is the guy that really popularized it.
Right.
And not only that, but made it an outpatient procedure.
Yeah. It's easy. You just go in, he fucking roots around in your brain, you leave.
As those who watched the procedure described it, a patient would be rendered unconscious by electroshock. Freeman would then take a sharp ice pick-like instrument, insert it above the patient's eyeball, through the orbit of the eye, into the frontal lobes of the brain, moving the instrument back and forth. Then he would do the same thing on the other side of the face. So he invented the transorbital lobotomy, which replaced the need to drill holes in the skull with an easy entry point kind of around your eye. So right at the corner of your eye where it meets the bridge of your nose, he would literally take a little hammer, as you see him here, and drive an ice pick into your brain on that side.
I think there's an episode of the Amazon show Lore that
Covers this.
that
Yeah.
explored this, or maybe I'm thinking of a different show, but there was definitely one about this guy and his revolutionary technique.
Yeah. He was actually kind of such an evangelist for this that he was a showman about it. Like, he would try and keep himself in the newspapers. He once did, I think it was 300 lobotomies in a day to, show how easy and he would
And
literally,
safe.
he'd wait for his patients to wake up and he'd test them and he'd slap them on their ass and release them to the custody of their relatives to go on home. And he'd just do one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other of these. So there were, he alone, notwithstanding the thousands of other people that practiced this type of lobotomy after he introduced and popularized it, performed almost 3,500 of these surgeries, including one on JFK's sister, Rosemary Kennedy. I actually skipped ahead a little bit. I think we got a video that we can watch.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at that video there.
Actually, if this is the video I think it is, this kid here survives to this day, and it's an interview with him and kind of a look at his brain and what happened when this happened to him.
Oh, interesting.
He was
Using
13.
them on people who, by anyone's standard, were perfectly normal. Hi there. Howard, I would guess.
Hi, I'm Howard Dully.
Hello, I'm Michael Mosley.
Glad to meet you.
And you. So this is your sort of childhood neighborhood, is it?
Yes, it is. This is the place.
Which way's the house?
House is over in here.
Dramatic.
What were you like as a child?
Well, I wasn't an angel. I was very rambunctious. I liked to roam the streets a lot, liked to be alone. I found out if I was alone, I didn't get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because no one was there to get me in trouble. And I just wanted to be left alone, pretty much,
Howard's mother died when he was just 5 years old. His father married again, but Howard and his new stepmother, Lou, had a very difficult relationship.
I felt that she was trying to take the place of my mother, and I
Right.
resented that, so...
How did she respond?
She would punish me or do things to me that would aggravate me, so it would just snowball. Once
I
she
mean,
did
by the way,
something
what
to
he's
me, I'd do
describing
something
here, short of the lobotomy, of course, is so fucking common in what they call blended family households, which
Yeah.
are increasingly these days the more common household for kids to grow up in. These are like divorced and remarried parents, and one of them moves in with the other's kids, and this type of rebellious feeling of that you're not my dad, you're not my mom, super fucking common, especially in the teen years. And he was basically subjected to this fucking.
Allow me to present an alternate hypothesis, though.
Sure.
Paul. The kid was crazy.
Oh
It
yeah,
was nuts.
He was
Insane.
He's a
fucking
fucking
out of
nut
his mind.
job, dude.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be a little affected by their mother dying? Wah. Wants to go off and cause trouble. He even said it, Paul. If he was by himself, he wouldn't get caught.
right.
back, and pretty soon it just got out of hand.
Their relationship got worse and worse, to the extent that Lou took Howard to see Dr. Freeman. It was just before his 12th birthday. Do you think she had any appreciation of what a lobotomy would do?
I don't know that she cared. I think that she just wanted a solution to me, and whatever that solution brought, she was willing to accept.
This picture shows Howard undergoing his lobotomy.
I wasn't changed that much, and I still had my faculties and things. I thought she was going to get more of a docile, robotic type kid that she could control.
If the lobotomy was supposed to pacify Howard, it failed. He became increasingly disruptive. Unable to manage him, his parents sent him away from home forever.
Damn.
I had gone to several people's homes and then made a ward of a court at juvenile hall. And since I didn't commit a crime, they sent me to Agnews at age 13, 14 years old. And I was put in with adult mentally ill patients.
Wow.
I just was a kid that had no place to go, is what they kept telling me.
Right.
We have no place to send you. And then I went back to juvenile hall, back on the streets, got in trouble because I didn't have any skills or know how to live. And went back to Agnews till I was 20. It was either that or prison.
Do you think Walter Freeman stole something from you?
I think he took my childhood. I think he took my childhood and some of my adulthood, because I'm probably about 20 years or better behind the average person.
What I'd really like to do is I'd like to take you along to an MRI machine where we can actually have a look inside your brain, because I think it
I'm
is
curious
extraordinary.
about
I think
this.
you're an extraordinary individual, and I'd be very, very
Yeah,
interested in how you
see what
are
his brain
in
looks like.
what the MRI machine might
You
reveal.
can skip ahead a little bit if you want to
looks
fast
like
forward
he's-
the process. Oh, yeah,
looks like
it's,
he's in there
it's
now,
moving
so.
along.
Of the 100,000 people who were lobotomized, Howard is the first to have a high-resolution MRI scan. I feel privileged to be here.
Let's see what it can reveal.
Let's see how bad Dr. Freeman fucked up.
I've seen into parts of you that no one else has ever seen into. Ooh. Right, take a seat over here. Take a foot. So we have had a good look at your brain. It's been absolutely fascinating.
Here's the front of his head. This is his eyebrow, his eye. His nose will be over here, the back of his head. The knife should have gone in above the eye.
Right, okay.
And then you can see this black region here is not normal.
That's abnormal, is
That
it?
is abnormal, yes.
Right.
See, inside my head I have a black hole. There you go. I got two of them, as a matter of fact.
Cut the brain this way
So this would be
instead of
considered-
from the side.
These huge black cavities were created by Dr. Freeman's instruments.
Black hole is the same as this from a different
And on both
view.
sides?
Both sides.
Right. So what would that area normally be doing?
So the frontal lobes are important for long-term planning, inhibition of a response. One of the most obvious things that people who have damage in this part of the brain is they become very impulsive.
Right, okay.
And unable to control their impulses.
And that's the paradox, isn't it? They went through all that, they put you through all that, and actually it was the exact opposite of what they were hoping to achieve.
Right.
It would have made you worse in a funny way. It would
Isn't
have
that
made
the
you much
folly of
more likely to
man?
misbehave.
Pretty
Is
much
that right?
personified.
Well-
You try to stop something, and you actually inadvertently make it, or not even inadvertently, but make it so much worse. Like that part of the brain, like you said, is understood to be to control your impulsive nature, and they're talking about he's an impulsive, rebellious teen.
Right.
So what is he gonna do?
And interestingly enough, when it comes to, and I saw estimates as high as 200,000 people worldwide underwent this procedure.
Crazy.
This piece here claims 100,000. I saw that in a lot of places as well. It's pretty much unknown how many people had this done to them, because this surgery was technically easy to do.
Right.
It was, like I said, it was an outpatient. It didn't require an
Just hammer a fucking
right.
little weird stick thing in their head and jiggle it around. It's like you're done.
and so it was pretty widely practiced. And
I guarantee probably there's probably people who tried to do this shit on their own.
And it was found to make some people worse. It was found to make some people more docile, which I don't know if you can claim
Categorize
that's
that as better
right.
necessarily, but yeah.
And some people, it absolutely just fucked them up. This is Rosemary Kennedy, who in 1941 went from, or she was born in 1941. So what happened to her was her mother was having her, and while that was going on, the whatever they call it, the maid that would attend the birthings, what do they call that?
Midwife.
The midwife was late. And so the nurse in attendance told her mother to hold her legs closed until the midwife got there. And as a result of that, oxygen was deprived to the baby. So by all accounts, she probably had some developmental difficulties. But you can see here, she had a life.
Yeah.
Well, she was institutionalized because she got a lobotomy, and it just made her a vegetable, basically. You can go to the next picture, TJ.
Yeah.
It says here that
Wonderful.
she went from a rebellious 23-year-old young woman to incontinent and with the mental capacity of a 2-year-old at the hands of Dr. Freeman and his surgeon partner, Dr. James Watts.
Fucking quacks, dude. Just total quacks who are just rooting around in such an integral part of any. I mean, it's so foundational to who you are as a person, of like how your mind perceives reality. You know what I mean? To have that ability. I mean, even if you're making poor decisions, being a rebellious 23-year-old is normal. And to take someone who had a life and had vibrance and did things and interacted with people and lived, and to basically make this person into this, someone who's just going to fucking sit in a chair the rest of their lives. Like I said, like a lot of times with these treatments.
It's basically a form of murder.
Yeah, it's like you might as well put a fucking bullet in their head, because what quality of life is this? The answer is there's none. And it's like a thing we've seen repeated in this episode. It's like,
Oh my God!
what the fuck?
I have no idea what just happened.
You all right, dude?
I'm feeling okay right now, but I got super fucking dizzy. Holy shit!
Oh, you okay, dude? You just fucking hit the ground, man.
Holy fuck, dude!
Oh, you want us to call an ambulance, dude?
I think I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Okay, so you might be wondering what the fuck just happened. I'm sure you guys heard some of that commotion captured over the mics.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So basically, Paul was sitting at his chair. He started to feel a little dizzy. He decided to get up and try to like walk it off a little bit. I saw him out of the corner of my eye walking on this side of me.
Yeah.
And you see that door there. Paul basically passed out right here, fell face first in that door, chipped a tooth.
Busted his lip.
It's
really
fucked up his knee.
Yeah, his knee is in a lot of pain right now.
Right. So, Paul has had this sort of thing happen before in his medical history.
Yeah,
he's been to doctors for it. They've not been able to figure out what causes it. I can tell you that when I went down to help him sit up, I was at first I honestly thought he had like a heart attack or something. I went and grabbed him by his shoulders and lifted him up against the fucking door over there, sat him down, got him some water. But he was covered in fucking sweat and shit, which apparently has happened the last couple times this has happened to him. He's had 2 instances prior to this in his adult life.
I've
he's
noticed
been to
that.
doctors for it and stuff. So, I mean, like, it's not a new issue. Paul's fine. He's lucid. He's feeling better. He's obviously hurt from his fall.
There was more planned for this.
There was a few more sections planned for this episode.
Just a crazy event that Paul needs to go rest. Paul needs to look after his health.
So for that reason, we're just pulling the plug on it. There was another little section here. We were pretty much to the end of the episode.
Yeah, we were nearing the end. I think everyone should know that Paul would go on if he could, but and he feels honestly bad, even though he just passed out and hit the fucking door and hit the ground.
Right.
Paul would really want to go on, but we basically told him like, no, Paul, this is not a good idea. You need to fucking relax.
Right.
You can't do it after you just passed out.
So for that reason, we're gonna end this episode a little prematurely. We're gonna. I don't know how we're gonna proceed from here. We've been talking to Paul, trying to figure out what kind of could have maybe caused it. This room was kind of on the hotter side. We were not running the AC.
Yeah.
He hadn't
eaten recently, so just a number of things.
Right. So he hadn't eaten since last night. I guess he had an early dinner last night and hadn't eaten anything since then. So maybe it was a blood sugar issue. None of us are medical experts, so we don't really know 100%. But we figured Paul said he wanted you guys to know what was going on. So that's what's happening. And, we're just going to kind of proceed from there. And I'm sure we'll probably talk about it on the Wednesday episode further when he can kind of maybe
feel a little bit better.
Feel a little bit more up to talking about it. So that's what's going on over here. Pretty crazy end to a pretty crazy episode.
And just so we're 100% clear to anyone in the audience, this is not kayfabe. We're not making this up. This isn't bullshit. This isn't a work. This isn't a bit. This isn't an act. This actually happened.
Right. So that's pretty much that. And thank you guys for watching. And you know, I don't know. I wish we could.
Crazy day. Crazy
wish it
episode.
hadn't happened the way it did, but yeah, it was pretty fucking nuts, man.
This episode was nuts, dude. This is just, I don't even know. I just want this episode to be
The
done.
cursed episode. I
Yeah,
don't know.
bye-bye episode.
Bye.
See you later.
The end.